What's up, Roulette Fools? Brent with AOB. I get asked all the time, different questions, but this one is, what are my top strategies? What do I like the most? So I thought we would do a top 10 countdown of what I think is the best, and actually starting at number 11, because that's how terrible it is. We're going to start with the AOB strategy. Several people have always pushed this and sent this to me, and this is just the latest one. I mean, so no one's done anything new, but this last one, I thought I would give it a try. I made a minor modification to chip placements, but all in all, terrible strategy. It's a high coverage, but it doesn't really do great. But let's give it a go. So as you can see, the best we can do here is if we hit a straight up and then we're flanked on each side by double streets, or excuse me, splits. Okay, so that's the best we can do. Here's a straight up with a split in a corner. That won't be as good because this is 8-1. The splits are 17-1. I don't think there's anything better than one straight up and two 17-1s, which would be equivalent to a straight up. So, so I think that's the best you can do right here. This is a corner and a split. I don't know. I played it. I did okay. The payouts are pretty low. And it did okay if you martingale your way up. So let's see how we're doing here. We're just going to give it a second. This is really just for fun. So let's give it 5 spins and we will move on. So this is so bad. It's not the top 10. I put it as 11, but it's really like 111 or something along those lines. This is just for fun, but I have my top 10. A lot of them are really close as we get through them, and you'll see, and I'll give you the reasons, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and to me, the use case, because that's really important to me when you're deciding on a strategy, is what's the use case, right? So in other words, am I playing with extra profit that I've set aside? I mean, we're assuming that everything is disposable income, as it should be, right? 32 is a good one. 32 hits us a split and 2 corners, which is the same as a split and or a straight up and 2 splits, right? So the use case is, am I looking for something that's a really high risk strategy, but that's a high payout, and I'm looking something that's more of a wager strat that has high coverage, lower payout? Am I looking for something that I want to be able to customize and change really easily and move on the fly and place my bets really easily? So there's several different categories there. And as we go through, I'll tell you what I like, what I don't like, and possibly what I would change, or some of the variations that we've already come up with. Okay. All right, there we go. I mean, we've gotten 4 wins in a row here. The base bet, right? I mean, it's not a ton. Our base bet is 550. So it's not a lot of profit, but we do have high coverage, obviously, like 12, 3, 34, 36, even though they have it, it's mostly a loss. 17 and 20 and 0 are only your complete losses, but these don't pay much at all. So they're a loss, but you can say, oh, they're partial, but let's just consider them full loss. Oh, she just whack-a-doodled the spin. Let's see if she's going to have to wait. I'm going to put you on pause so we're not wasting time. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. They're going to do a respin here, and we'll get on the way. And I actually wanted to lose so you can see what oh my gosh, she must be new. That's okay. That's okay. They got to learn at some point. And I imagine it's a bit nerve-wracking being on a table and knowing that all these people on their computers are watching you. So there she goes. They'll get the hang of it. They'll get the hang of it. All right, good job. All right, let us go. So I was kind of hoping to lose some, but we're not gonna take very much time here. So let's see if we can get away with another win and get out of here, because this is a 550 bet. We lose, we're down. We're still up 40 cents. All right, 16. That's a good win right there. So we got 5 wins there. Not a bad strat, but it's goofy and doesn't really count. All right, now that we've done that one, coming in at number 10, 11 up. Okay, so the way I play 11 up is we're going to have 1 unit on certain streets, and we're going to have 2 units on 2 corners. Okay, and I'm going to show you what those are. I got in out of a spin, so I'm gonna put you on pause so we're not wasting time. Okay, we're back. We're back. Actually, would have won another one with the AOB strategy. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna put 1 unit here, 2 units on this corner, and then we're gonna put a unit, a unit on this double street, on these streets. You could put 4 units on the second dozen if you want. We're gonna put a unit here, and we're gonna put 2 units there. A total of 11 bets, 11 units. That's why I called it 11 up. I don't remember what the name of this strat was actually called. I saw this probably maybe a year ago, I believe. I don't really remember, but I think CEG was showing this one, maybe. I'll tell you what I like about this one. I like about this one is that it has decent coverage. We just hit a banger here. 3-2 because it's covered by the corner and the street. Okay. The things I like about it is it pays out. All these all pay. Okay. Everything pays. There's no partial losses. Everything's a pay. I take that back. I stand corrected. 32 and 33, 5 and 6, where you see it's just covered by the corners. Those are a couple units partial loss. I think they're 2 units loss. 36, 35, 2 and 3 are your big bangers, and those actually double the size of your bet. And then the 16 through 19 streets, those two, because they're covered with this double street plus the individual streets, that gives you about 50% back of your total bet size. Okay, so that's a total loss. What I like about this strategy is if you want a slow grinder strat that works out really well, I like this because if you go to a table and you're looking for a different way to place bets and you're looking for something just as a grind, all your bets are on the inside, right? You got a lot of coverage, so you can get around those table limits. If it's a $25 table limit, you can get down here and put 3 units, however you got to do to get to it, but it's spread out, so it's kind of nice. I like that all these pay except for these little losses, 2, 3, 32, 33, and these middle. You got a decent number. You have 10 numbers that really get you up there, like this one. Look at this one. Boom. This is a banger. This will get us 50% of our bet. Okay. So I got us 50% of what we were putting down. The way I play this when I want to be really conservative is it's 2 full losses before a martingale. If you get partial losses, obviously you just add it up till it counts up to a full loss and then martingale. And I have played this at a casino for hours on end and kind of gone up. I think I spent all night playing on it one night just because I didn't want to spend any money. I didn't want to lose a lot. I knew I wasn't going to win a lot. I think I had some pretty good rolls there at the end. I started hitting these banger numbers in these double streets right here in the middle. I ended up about $200 and I was playing with dollar chips. So I like that from that perspective. What I don't like, you know me, I don't like partial loss systems. I'm not a big fan of banger number systems. So those are kind of, I'm going to double up now. And I should have saved the bet, but we're not going to stay here long. I like this, but pros and cons of banger systems. Some people really like them. You know me, if you've been watching me at all, I kind of like the even payouts across everything, not across all the numbers. I like an even payout. To me, those have better recoveries overall. When you rely on just a couple numbers to get you back into profit, especially if you lose, if we were to hit these numbers down here and get down in the deep, it starts getting a little hairy. I mean, you really have to martingale these up because these ones here on the streets that are not covered by anything else, like the number 1, 13, 14, 15, those only, like this one only pays a very little bit. It pays, I think, 1 unit. Let's see, or 2 units. 2 units. No, it actually pays 1 unit. So right now we have 2 20-cent units. It only pays 1 unit. Right now our units are 20 cents. So they cover everything, but it's not. But anyway, that's to me the pros and cons. This is a good, you don't win a lot. You typically don't lose a lot on this system, but you can sit at a table for a really, really long time. Let's just see if at a couple more spins, if we can get into recovery. I suggest on this one, if you start getting down too much, you just stop and move on because again, I'm not crazy about systems that rely on banger numbers, a couple banger numbers to get you out of on debt, so to speak. So let's see where we end up. 15. See, that's just another 2-unit win. That's 20 cents. We're going to stop there. Let this refresh. All right, there we go. Okay, so that's that number. I call that 11 up. Coming in at 9th place is CYA, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 5. Okay, so we got 9 units on these corners. You can put these anywhere you want as long as they're in consecutive corners, right? So I could have started at the 1-5 corner and gone this way. I could have started at the 34-35 corner and gone that way. I've chosen this. Now 4 and 5, these edge numbers on the edge of the corner are partial losses. Okay, so we're going to martingale up. So this one again, partial losses on the outside. This top end pays 1 unit, which would, in this case, we've got, what do we got up there? $1 up there. So this would pay only $1, okay? On top of everything else we get, it's $1 profit. And then in here, if you hit on the inside numbers, inside of the partial loss goalposts, 7 through 29, those are a 4-unit win. So in this case, we would get 80 cents profit on top of what we put down. So 80-cent profit there, $1 profit up here if my numbers are right. All right, there's a 6. Let's see what we get. We had a 280 bet and 3, so it's 20 cents. So yeah, 1 unit up here. Remember, we were at 20-cent units. So this gives you 1 unit win up here. So I stand not $1, but it's a 20-cent unit, 1 unit. We really want to hit in here to get the 4 units. And this is a 28 number system, and for the most part, you can treat it as you're going to need 2 good hits to recover. Okay, so I do like this one. It's a high coverage system. I have a love-hate relationship with this one because for such a high coverage system, I swear every time I play, I'm hitting zeros, 1, 2, 4, 5, 31, 32, 34, 35. And then when it goes to recovery time, I hit the top third. So 17, that's a good hit right there. That's exactly what we wanted. That should pay us 80 cents profit. So we should be up 50 cents here. Beautiful. All right, we're going to go back to it one more time. You put 9 consecutive streets. Again, you could put those wherever you want. And 5 units up there for a total of 14 units. Okay. And I call this CYA, cover your ass, because this third column right here, that's the covering your ass, right? That's covering this entire set of 12 numbers up there. So not a bad grinder system, I think. If you want to go to a casino and place bets, not a bad way to do it. I mean, for the most part, it's fairly easy to place these bets down here. So not difficult at all. Okay, so we're going to get only up here a 10-cent profit up there. So we'll go to 60 cents profit up there. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, we'll give it one more. I'll show you one more time. Again, I like this one because it's pretty simple to play. I was kind of looking at this going, how can we simplify it? But I mean, it's pretty easy. You're putting one in front of all these corners as it is. So you don't need to split the numbers up here, but you can. Now, to be in all fairness, it was sort of this system, and I'll have to go look back at the history. I'm trying to remember who submitted this to me, but all right, there's a good hit right there. Boom. That should be 40 cents. This should take us to $1. There we go. It's $1. That was actually one of the ones that created the idea, spawned the idea of Mickey Mouse for me. Okay, so that comes in at number 9. Number 8 is more of a system, and we'll come right back. We'll come right back after the spin so you can see it. Okay, we're back. So coming in at number 8 is one that I call Virus. And this is, you put 5 units. They found this on CEG. You put 5 units on any of the 2 dozens, then you cover 2 numbers with 1 unit. Okay. So this one I like. It's fun. You need to bet with a very, very, very low amount because this gets very expensive. So this is the one that I consider the pros on it are when you hit a good one, you are going to skyrocket. This one almost, the more losses you have when you hit a number, a straight up number, you're going to skyrocket way up into profit. Okay, so what we do here is we start off with 5 units on each on 2 dozens and 1 unit on 2. And then when you lose, you're going to add another 2 and you're going to martingale. Now, when you add these additional 2 every time you lost, make sure you match the existing bet that's down there and then martingale it all together. So now we have 2 units here and 10 units, or if we went with 20-cent units, again, 1 unit on the straight ups, 5 units on this. So I like it because when you do hit a straight up, it's sort of a really fun one. And I've had actually pretty good success with it, surprisingly. Now, as we were playing it before, I was covering the second and the third dozen. And what we were doing before is I was starting to cover everything around a 0. And I like that. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cover the goalpost first. So 2 units, that's not where we want it. 2 units there, 2 units there, and we're going to martingale again. Once I get, this is just me, once I get all the goalposts covered, then I might start going around the corner. But as someone pointed out in our live stream, when I had second and third dozen, it's better when you hit a straight up number if it's also in the dozen that you're covering. So all these 3 numbers are in the first dozen, and these will be all in the third dozen. So I like that idea. So I'm not going to be able to go around and cover everything, but 26, 32, 12, 28, those will be, and 4 and 7 and 29 will all be able to be covered. Boom, we just hit a straight up. And it's covered by the dozen. This will get us nicely into profit considering what we're playing, right? Ka-chow, look at that, $13. All right, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units there. 1 unit there, 1 unit there. That's just what I'm doing. If your favorite numbers are 17, 23, 20, whatever they are, you can cover the second dozen and put it there. You don't even have to have these straight ups in the same dozen that are covered down here, but then your payout's going to be a lot less. Okay, your payout's going to be a lot less. So when we were live streaming, someone mentioned that and said, hey, because I like the goalposts here, it's better to put on the first and third. And I didn't even think about it. So that's one thing I really love being about part of the community is they catch things, you know, we all help each other. So we're going to expand now. We're going to go out, and this is just me. And I'm going to go 35 and I'm going to double it up. Now this one can get a little difficult when you start getting into the 6th, 7th progression, because you start having to match these, and you have to go down here and go and try to match whatever these numbers are. And they could be like, say, 320 or 640. So you have to do a 5, then 2 50s, then 4 10s on each number. So what I suggest is if you play this the way that I play it, which would be I'm going to cover the same exact numbers every time I play this, I would leave these alone. But once I get to the 4th, 5th, 6th progression, boom, we just hit again. We just hit again. This is great. This is great. Look at this. 1920. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just play another round here. You know who she looks like? She looks like, I said this before, she looks like the gal that was on Criminal Minds as one of the team members, right? You remember that? She left the series after like season 5 or 6, but she looks exactly like that gal on Criminal Minds. Anyway, I would start saving the bets at the higher progression levels if you're going to play the same numbers, because it gets really difficult when you start getting to 6, 7, 8, 9, running out of time, you know, to place your bet. So that's just my thoughts on it. The other thing is what you could do to make it a little easier is if you wanted to try to find a way where, like SoCal DGen said, if you didn't want to play it exactly like this, then you could play it where you use the racetrack, say take it down to 2, and you can bet 3 numbers at a time and do that way. So I'm sure people can find an easier way to play this one. But let me warn you, while right now it looks like we're winning, I have played this where this got me very, very deep into the progressions, and I lucked out. I got so deep, it got very expensive that I said, okay, screw it. I'm going to go for it one more time. And if I lose, I'm done. And I hit. So, oh, we wanted that 0. We wanted that 0. So we'll just go until we recover. All right, let's go. We're going to rebet 20 cents, 20 cents, and we're going to double. So very volatile, but as you can see here, when you do finally hit, it is a skyrocket. I ended up making about $1,500. I was using, I can't remember if I was using $5 units, but it got way down there. The bets got, it got very expensive. It was over, that bet was over, I want to say it was a $1,600. I don't know. It was up there, $2,200 bet. I can't remember. And so it's clench time. So this one, I call it virus because you're nice. Look at that. Boom. We just hit. Oh, we didn't martingale. I forgot to martingale. Otherwise our win would have been even higher. Didn't I forget to martingale? No, we didn't forget to martingale. Okay. So you can see that's that. But if you can imagine, I call this virus. I think they at CEG, they just said unknown subscriber, or the unknown or something. I call it virus because you're constantly starting to spread across the board. Reminded me of a virus. And you know, I like to give fun names to things. Okay, so that is number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a strategy that I'm going to call Pimp, the Pimp. And these aren't my strategies. These are things that I've used and refined. But with the Pimp, we're basically playing corners. And this is a progressive coverage system on corners. So basically, you're going to pick any 4 corners you want. They don't have to be together. They could be any 4 as long as they're paired up in a way that allows you to go all the way to 6 corners. Okay. Now you could get around that if your units, let's say I start out with 20-cent units or whatever, you could do 2 splits to get around it. But just make sure that you put your corners in the paired double streets, right? 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, and the 31. Just make sure that your corners are always in those paired so that you're not putting one on the 4, 8 corner here, because that blocks and you won't be able to get, you will not be able to get 4 corners or the 5th corner and the 6th corner out. Okay. So when I lose on this one, I martingale. If you want to play it a little safer, you can leave it down at the base bet and you'll still recover and make profit. Okay. So this is a very common strategy been out there. Yes, some people have mentioned, said, hey, this is Kentucky White strategy. Okay, that's all right. I believe he initially started out with 1 quarter. And then I think he also said sometimes he starts out with 2. Some people said to start with 3. I've done some testing on my own, and I have found that I've had the best results when I start out with 4 corners, martingale, and then spread martingaling all the way up to 6 corners, and then martingaling from there on out. All right, boom, there's a hit. So that's profit. Anytime in the first 5 corners you hit, it's going to be a decent profit. Okay. Now you can change whatever corners you want. And actually, when I play this often, I'll just play the same 4 corners all over. I have found, again, it doesn't make a difference. Overall, you're going to end up with the same results if you play this 100 times, because some sessions they will just miss you, and some sessions you just can't be missed, right? So we have this on our Clever Bets app, the app that we're partnered with, Clever Bets, that controls your mouse and allows you to place bets. We have this corner bet system for our members. We just call it AOB corner, so they know which one it is. But we have this one covered on our in Clever Bets if you are interested in that tool. And I'll be giving another demonstration video on Clever Bets and the updated, because we just got 9 streets in there, and I'm super excited about having 9 streets and 5 double streets. All right, so we got our 4, we lost, we're going to martingale. We lose this one again, we're going to spread 1 more and go. So let's recover 1 more and then we'll keep going. Okay, so I call this the Pimp because we're putting units on corners, right? So we're managing the units that we send out onto the street corners here to generate some money. All right. 21. Boom. That's a winner. That's a winner. I kind of wanted to get deep down in the weeds for you here. So let's see if we can go 1 more round if I can get it now. Watch. You can spread these out. You could go like this, like this. Like this. And let's go here. So I've kept them in the paired double streets so that I have the ability to put another corner there and another corner here. If I slid this one open, it would prevent me from putting corners. So don't make that mistake. But yes, depending on what the kind of units are, if you're able to cut those in half, you could do two splits instead of a corner. If you could do 25, let's say we were doing, you'd have to do like $10, $20 units. All right, we're going to double this up. If you did like $20 units to start with, then you could say do $5 units or $10 splits or $5 on 4 individual numbers. So you can get around this if you want. It's just easier to keep them paired into the paired double streets, okay, in the paired streets. So I do like this one. Again, I feel like this one can tend to go on, but overall I've had good success with it. Not one of my favorites. I'm not a huge fan in terms of my daily play of progressive corners like this. One of the reasons they're good online, to me, they're not so good in a casino. Especially if you're like, unless you're at a really cheap casino or whatnot. All right, so we're going to take that. We're going to add another corner. We're going to come up here and we're going to martingale. So now we're at our 5th corner, okay? And the reason why is because when you start, let's just say you start with 4 corners, you've got those table mins. And if the table mins are say $15, you're going to have a tough time placing, and you might have to go up to $5 units, which is a $20 minimum. The unit, it can be a very expensive layout because of the way you play with the table minimums. And if you want to start out with 2 corners only, that can get really expensive, because then on, the rest of your corners got to meet or exceed that amount, right? All right, here we go. We are going to add one more. And I wanted you to see this. And we're going to martingale again. Now we've gone to 6 corners. You can see we're down. Let's take a look and see what recovery is about. I think that's probably one of the most important things when I look at a strategy. Isn't how much profit it makes, but how quickly does it get in the hole, and what does recovery look like? How easy is recovery? Is it very laborious and very expensive? Like, for example, Romanowski, right? That's an 8-to-1, payout recovery system. For every loss, you have to win 8 times at that flat bet amount. So it gets very expensive. Oh, we're just missing everything. All right, here we go. But this is good. Let's see how deep we get and what recovery looks like. All right, there we go. So we're going to just, at this point, I stay. You know, if you wanted to, you could sit here and move these. You don't have to stay static on it. If you see that, like, for example, she just hit 19 and 31, maybe we go, oh my gosh, she's hitting the first column a lot. Let's move these bets down the first column. You can move these around. So it's very flexible. It's very easy. The pros on this one are super easy to place your bets, right? You're literally just placing a couple corner bets. So it's super easy to keep track of. There's nothing complicated about. Super flexible in where you push your bets around. So that's a real pro to us on this 32. Finally, we hit one. Let's see how we do. She's get us about halfway, like here, I think. Yeah, somewhere right about there. So we're going to rebet. So recovery isn't bad. Recovery is not bad. I mean, we are covering 24 numbers right now. So not bad at all. So I like this one. It's not what I call a daily driver, right? This isn't one that I would use, but I think this is a one that I would use when I do use it, I use it in short bursts. I usually play it. I set a fairly low target, and I get in and I get out. Part of it could be because I'm impatient. So when you play it, you should plan on going through progressions and losing a lot, but that's okay. Because like I said, recovery is nice. So I will probably in 2025, one of my goals was to start using some of these other strategies more. I want to start playing with 2 dozens. I want to take the strategies that I don't like, and I want to find a better way to use them. Boom, look at that. So the recovery 2, and we're in profit. I suppose in some respects, we could have brought that back down to 1 progression before that if you want to play it in conservative mode. Okay, so that one there, we call that the Pimp. The next one, which is according to that, it falls in line, coming in at number 6, spread your streets. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little history. Again, nothing new with these progressive systems, but a member a while back, I haven't seen him in a long time, Otudo, he liked going to all the different streamers and submitting his thing. So does Mr. David Scouse. They've submitted these to a bunch of places and they've gotten them on. But the way I'll tell you the way he originally played it after I get it set up. So the way that I have modified it is, again, sort of like our corner bets. We don't want that one there. I like starting out with 6 streets. He started out with 2 streets. His streets were based on where the last numbers were to fall. So on 14, the way he would do it is he would cover a street on each side of the street that just hit. I'll play through his once round. If you're the kind of person that, for whatever reason, believes that the ball gets grouped by here, I don't, then that's what his was based around. I do it simple. I minimize this. So the way I do it is almost exactly the same play that I do on the Pimp, the corners, is once I start out with 6 streets, and when I lose, I double it. Okay. But that's where it ends as far as that. And there's AOB. I thought I had put it down here, but I didn't. The one thing I hate about the stake tables, you can only save 5 bets. That's so ridiculous. And they take up a whole bunch of screen for very little information. So absolutely ridiculous stake. So we have doubled it. The nice thing is that any of the first 3 progressions, and you're going to be up in profit right now. So we hit here. We're definitely up in profit. There's a 7. We just missed it. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to rebet. Now this is a little different now. Stay with me. We're going to rebet. We're going to put 2 units, and we're going to put 1 on the double streets in the middle. And we're going to martingale. If you want to play a more conservative, don't martingale it, but it's going to take you a couple more wins to get up. Too many wins for my liking. So now we have gone, this is the end of the road as far as how far we progress. Okay. From this point on, all we're doing is martingaling this bet. Okay. Just keep going at it. So that's this one. So this is spread your streets, and I'm going to show you, boom, there's a win. So this is on our 3rd progression, right? Boom. And we're up in profit. Rinse and repeat. If you had lost there, we keep going. Now I'm going to show you the original way that Otudo made it. So it hit on 20. So we're going to put a unit on each side, and that's it. So he always starts with 2 units. Now, after I played his method, my first modification was screw putting these wherever it last hit. I'm going to just always start with 16 and 19th Street right in the middle. And then I'm going to spread my streets outwards like this, 1 on each side. This one is a fairly similar process to what we just did, except there's some differences here, and you may like these, you may not. So 26, so we lost here. So now you're saying, well, I got to put 1 on each side, but I've got 1 blocking here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to rebet. You always cover the same ones, and you never cover the ones that were left open in the begin with. So it hit a 26. So we're going to go this side. And on the left side, we got to go with the next available one, right? Which we're not going to put 1 here. It's going to come all the way over here to the 13, because we will never cover the 19 and the 25 street ever on this strategy. So you have to move over. If it were to have hit 35, the number, you roll it around over here and you would cover the 1 street and the 31 street. Does that make sense? So you never cover what's already been left open, because that's where it landed. So you're never covering a street that hit. All right. Just as we were talking about 36, that's how it goes. And I actually forgot to martingale. Oh no, he doesn't martingale there either. He keeps his bet the same. And now when you get to the 6th one, now it hit 36, right? So we're going to cover the 31 and the 1. Now we begin our martingaling after it gets to the 6th level. Okay. So his is different. Whereas I started out with 6 streets, I lose, I martingale, and I leave it at 6 streets. Then I go to 8 streets. I add a unit on the double streets in between the other streets, and then I martingale. This one, you're going to go 2 streets 4 streets at the same level, 1 unit each. When you get to 6 streets, you're going to double. And then I'll show you what we do if we miss on this one. Boom, that's a hit. Oh, we forgot to reset the stats here. That's okay, because we started out here, right? Okay, so let's do that again. One more time, we'll run through it. 17. So we're going to place a unit on each side. Units on each side. And you know what? I've played this quite a bit, and I've done okay on this one. It's not a bad way to do it. I just found that it was, I'll tell you the downside when we get up. Hopefully we can get up, and it's so funny. Whenever I want to lose so I can show you the progressions, I always win. And on a live stream too. I'm like, come on, let's lose. I hope we can get into like the 4th or 5th. Let's see, we need a 1, 2, 3. I think we need to get to the 4th progression for me to show you what I like and what I don't like about this. All right, there we go. So we're going to rebet, leave it the same 1 unit, and it hit a 3. So we're going to put 1 here, and we're going to loop all the way around the other side of it, and it's going to go there. All right, and we leave it at 1 unit. And this is where we at last time. If we miss this one, we'll add 2 more streets and double it at that point, and that's all we'll do. But I want you to get to the 4th progression so I can really show you what it is I don't like about this one and why I think that my version of spread your streets is better. All right, let's go. Come on, please give us a loss. We need 2 losses in a row. If we win on this one or the next one, I'll just show you anyway because I want to move on. And we win. Okay. All right. Let's pretend we lost there. Okay. And we'll just keep going. So that's a win. So what we would do at this point is it hit 36 again. So we're going to go 1 to the left of it. And we're going to go 1 to the right, but we can't hit this one because this was already hit. And we're going to double it up. And we are going to add a unit in between. Oh, it was too late. So on that, when you finally get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, I take that back. We weren't supposed to put the, yeah, we were supposed to. No, I take that back. We go to 6 and we double. So this one is by accident. So wipe that from the thing. We already got to this level the last time. So we're at 6 units here. All right, we lost here. Okay, forget that I had that double street placed there, right? So now what we're going to do is it hit a 25. So we're going to place a unit on each side, match it up with the numbers that we hear. And then for every one where you have 2 streets, you're going to put a double in the middle. Okay. And then we're going to martingale. So similar to what I did. Now here is what I don't like about it. With my version, all your streets are all in a row. So you can cover every single one with a double street. You maximize. Here you'll notice this one is left off with no double street coverage. You have 1, 2, 3 ends, 4 ends, 5 ends that only have 1 double street covered on it. So our win there is far less than we would have gotten had we been playing on the other strategy because it was only covered with 1 double street. So you got far more end pieces than what the other one has. Okay, now that's one. I do like it. I like my version better, but play around with it. You can start with 2 streets. You can start with 4 streets, just like spread, just like Pimp or moving corners or whatever you want to call that other strategy where you use progressive systems. So that's that. The coming in at number 5 isn't so much an individual strategy, is a conglomeration of strategies put together with the aim of protecting your bankroll and being, to me, one of the safest strategies out there. So I'm going to show you what that is. All right, so we lost on that one. Let's wipe it out. This is Twister. Okay, now I used to start with Romanowski, but I'm not going to do that anymore. You start with 5 double streets. And I set that your risk on this strategy is high at the very beginning. We're going to go all the way up to $1.60. We're going to get crazy and do an $8 bet. So your risk on this one comes in your first 1 to 2 spins only. Okay. And then once you get out of these 1 to 2 spins, at that point, you're going to be doing nothing but playing with house money. And that's kind of nice because you can still make a lot of money. All right. You can still make a lot of money, but you're not fearful of losing your bankroll. I don't like systems and I'm not knocking on CEG because they're just demonstrating systems that other people submit, but I'm not a fan of systems that you put your bankroll and when you win, you reinvest, you press your bets, you put your bankroll plus the winnings out there. And then you go through multiple steps before you get to this jackpot. I don't like those. I'm okay if you hit the first system, you pull back yours, then just put casino money to go forth and hope to put a jackpot. I'm not a fan of progressive systems where you got to get all the way through all 4 steps. Otherwise you lose it all. The chances of you doing that are pretty slim. All right, look at this. So now we're at $1.60. We're at $3.20. This is the coverage is regressive. So we went from a 30 number system. Now we're going to go to a 9 street system, which is 27 numbers. And we're going to put a unit here. So now we're betting 90 cents, but we have 320. So we're going to pull our original our bankroll is sitting on the side. Now what our goal is, we want to play as long as we can with this profit that we have here. And that's what I really like about it, because your sigh of relief, especially if here I'm only playing with 10 cents, but normally I would play with this one. I would probably be betting the first couple times with $100 units, 500 bets, and get a couple hundred here and then pull my bets down. Okay, beautiful. So we just hit on the 9th street. This pays 3 units. So we won 30 cents. So now we're going to be at 350 up here. Now we went from a 30 number system to a 27 number system. Now we're going to go to a 24 number system. So we're going to pick 2 dozens. And if you want to be really conservative, you just put 1 unit. If you want to play for a long time, that's only 20 cents. We're up. So let's go a little bit more. Let's go 40, 50 cents. But if you want to play this for a long period of time, and this is great when you're at the table, but if you're going to play this at a live casino table, make sure you know what the table mins are, because you have to adjust your first couple bets big enough so that when you get to the outside bets, you're putting the table mins down there and they don't exceed your profit, right? And I'll tell you what I mean. Boom, we just hit. All right. So that is, we just won there. Now we're at $4. Now what we're going to do is we went from a 24 number system. I'm going to go to a 20 number system, and I'm going to do Mickey Mouse, except I'm modifying so that I'm only putting, instead of putting 20 numbers, and I'll explain Mickey Mouse another time, but we're covering 20 numbers here with 1 unit each. It's a 50-cent bet. If we win, you win 80% of your total bet. In other words, we put 50 cents down. We win here, we win 40 cents. So I'll show you what we do when we lose, but this is called Twister because you're kind of funneling down. You could call it funnel, but funnel systems are already taken out there. So I call this Twister because you're starting with high coverage systems. Boom, we just won again. And we're coming down. So we just won a 20 number system. So that's gone from 20. Our final one is going to an 18 number system. For me, it's always black. So I'm going to put 50 cents on black. Actually, yeah, we're going to put 50 cents on black. And remember, we just won 40 cents. So actually what I might do is go a 30 cents so that we would have profited. So even if I lose, we profited every step of the way except this one. And even so, we will still have profited 10 cents from the previous step. So that's the whole idea, is that as you try to go through this gauntlet, you're never using more money than the previous step so that you're profiting. And when you start all over again, oh man, so we lost. That's okay. We lost 30 cents. So now once we get to the bottom of the gauntlet, you have 2 choices. You can sit here and martingale this until you win, or you just start all over again from where we started, except you don't have to have this one as bet. So we just lost 30 cents, right? So I'm going to go up to a 40-cent bet so that I get back everything that I lost on this bet, plus I go up 10 cents. So it's going to, so your idea is that you slowly bring this graph, continue to go up, but that you don't touch anything below sea level here, that you're playing this entire time with house money. And if you can work out the house minimum at the casino and build a big enough bet at the beginning so that when you get down to the outside bets, you have enough money to place on them, yet you're not busting the bank, even better. All right, so we won on that one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go from a 30 number system, and we're just going to go through this one more time. And again, you can place these anywhere you want. You can go from a 30 number system to a 28 number system to a 27 number system. It doesn't matter. This is the idea that you're going from a high coverage. And the reason why I like going from a high coverage to a low coverage is because for me, the win rate up here, you're risking a lot, but your win rate is high, and you can hopefully get those right off the bat. Versus if I don't really prefer going from small to bottom, from a low coverage system to a high coverage system, because it costs you more as you go up relative. All right, so we won on that one. Beautiful. So that's a 27 number system. And again, we're going to go down to a 24 number system, and we won 15 cents there, right? So again, you could go with 10-cent units here if you're not in a rush and you want to stay as high in the green as you want. But I like to press it a little bit. So we're going to press it up. I can't believe I'm saying that with 20 cents, right? We're going to go for it. So, but the other aspect of this that I really like, in addition to it just being so much more stress-free when you're playing this, is that I just lost my line of thinking. What else do I like about this? Shoot, I'll come back to it. So I can't believe I just forgot that. Oh, awesome. Look at it, 24 number system. So we just hit that. Oh, I know what it is that there's this challenge of going all the way through the gauntlet. Now we're going back to Mickey Mouse 1. Is that you're starting at that high coverage, and it's just a fun extra side thing to see if you can get all the way through without getting whacked, right? If we could have hit that black on that last session, we would have gone all the way through the gauntlet. So it's sort of, you're not just betting the same thing over and over and over again. You're coming through. It's sort of like playing 5 double street slut, where you're seeing if you can win all the bets across the table to get to the end. So that's what I really like about it. Oh man, so we lost on this one. So we just lost 50 cents. So what we're going to do now, and I'm not going to go through it all over again. We just lost 50 cents. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 50 cents, whatever I lost, I'm going to go there plus add 1 unit. Because remember, I want this to stair step up. Now, what happens if we lose at this level a couple times and get down here? Take a break, come back. Don't keep pushing it. Once you start getting about, I would say about halfway to 2/3 down, stop and walk away while you're still up. Come back, start all over again, except you can start over with a lower initial bet because you have some green left here. Let's see how we do. Perfect. So we actually will be stair stepping up from where we last left off, and we go through it again. Now, like I said, when you get down to any of these levels, like when we were on Mickey Mouse here, Mickey Mouse 1, when you lose, you can choose to go back to the top like I do, or you can sit here and literally play that step until you are out, okay? So you can play that step until you're out. All right, so that's the twister strategy. I really, really like that one. And coming in at number 4 is another system I really, really like. It's a fairly high coverage system, and I'm going to tell you what I really like about it in just a second. And it has one thing really going for it, and I'll tell you what, to me, the biggest benefit of that one is. And this strategy is called V28. Now, the original goes 1 unit, 1 unit, and then on the dozen, 3 units, and then 1 unit, or excuse me, that goes down here, 1 unit, 1 unit. So if you could see a normal table layout, not like these idiots, you would have this V, we're covering 28 numbers. Everything in the second dozen is covered by these 3 units. These 4 corners, right, are covered. Now, when you win, you hit this, you're winning 2 units. So anywhere we hit on here, we're winning 20 cents in this case. We're winning 2 units. So we just got whacked. Now, the way I actually play it, I don't play it like this. And there's no benefit, no curse. I always just play it like this. But we're going to double it. And it's got a recovery system to 9, similar to 9 Streets, which for every loss, we're going to have to win at least 2 plus just a little bit. But when I win 2, I go back down to base bet, and then you'll have to win there to get fully caught up. Okay. So we're going to win 40 cents here. Twice is going to be 80 cents. So I'm sorry. I meant to say when we do win, it gets you slightly ahead on the first one. All right. There's a 6. There's a win. So we get all the way back up into profit. Now, 2 of them will get us back into profit. So what I've noticed is oftentimes people will see a strategy and they'll stick exactly. Folks, you can put 3 units on the first dozen and select 4 corners anywhere over here. You don't have to stick to this exact layout. If you see that there's a dozen that's really hot, you might want to put these units because it's covering the entire dozen instead of just 2 of the columns within that dozen. Okay, so you can definitely move this around if you feel like a dozen. If the dealer bias is hitting a certain dozen, move it on over. All right, boom, we recovered. And one of the things I really like about playing this one in the casino is just how dang easy it is to place the bets. I mean, it's super easy. 3 units on the dozen, you got up here. So if you're sitting down at the very end of the table down here, you can literally reach this one, these 2, hand the dealer 2 chips and say 2, 6 in the 8, 12 corners. Most dealers, after you do that once or twice, you just give them the 2 chips and they'll know exactly what you're playing if you're staying here. It's also very flexible, like other strategies. You can move these independent of each other and not affect what it's going to do. So boom, we just hit in the second dozen. And because this is covered, we win it. All right, let's get one more win. I always kind of hoping that we're going to lose like 4 or 5 so we can get underneath so we can see how the recovery is. All right, let's go. One more win and we're done here. All right. I told you when I'm trying to lose, it usually wins. So please, please, please let us lose so we can. I want to go into like 4 progressions so you can see the different options for recovery. One is leave your bet high, like most things. Okay, we just hit another win. Okay, so I'm not going to do it, but it has a similar recovery as 9th Street. Okay, moving on. So we made 50 cents. I like that strategy a lot. It's very simple. The next one coming in at number 3 is Mickey Mouse, which we call Mixie Mouse so that we don't come into copyright issues. I'm not going to get it. We got to get 20 numbers. Oh, we didn't get it. We needed to cover these. So, and I usually have these favorites saved. So you're going to cover 20 number. I know what you're saying. Hey, Brent, why can't we just put 4 units on these corners? And you absolutely can. Okay, you absolutely can. But I'm going to tell you why I don't do it here in a second. Once we lose, I'll show you why I don't do it. All right, so we won an extra 20 cents there. So we're going to go back here and I'm not even going to savor it. I'm not even going to save it because I hope that if we have to come back to it, we're going to go through until we recover once. We've been running on this for almost an hour and we still have 2 more strategies to get in the top 2. If you've been following me for any amount of time, more than a few months, I think you're going to know what my top 2 strategies are that I absolutely love. And they're a real toss up for me. All right, 7, we're winning again. And I love this one too, because this wins 80% of your total bet. So this is the 20 number system in Twister where I was putting 1 unit on these corners because you can lower your bets. But I designed this one with the first 3 progressions in mind to keep your progressions as low as possible, but keep your recovery as quickly as possible. And that's what I really, really, really love about this one is that you got a decent coverage here. The payout, if you hit on this first one, is really nice, right? You're getting paid out at 80% of your total bet. And recovery, every progression for the first 3 progressions does really not cost you very much. Come on, we need a loss. I don't want to keep winning. I don't want to keep winning. Now, you can again put these 20 anywhere you want as long as they're consecutive and the 2 columns are right next to each other. So you could start at the 1 and 2 and go this direction and end here. You can go down here, or you can put these on the 2nd and the 3rd columns. You don't have to be them in the 1st and 2nd. In my saved bets, I have Mickey Mouse 1A, 2A, and 3A. Those are the first 3 progressions that I have here. Then I have 1B, 2B, 3B, which are if I want to play the 2nd and the 3rd column. Okay. And again, we have this one on the automated betting tool, Clever Bets. Mickey Mouse is available. Mixie Mouse, Mixie Maus. We have this available on Clever Bets, AOB Mixie Mouse. So go check it out. And it goes through all the progressions and you have options. There's this version. And then Brad took this version and he made it more aggressive in the progression so that no matter what, one hit gets you into profit. The pros are one hit gets you into profit. The downside is the progressions get very expensive very quickly. So pick your poison there. I prefer on this one a little bit more conservative approach with numbers. Okay, good. So we just lost. Finally. All right, so what we're going to do for the second progression is we're going to rebet. We're not going to touch anything, but we're going to put a unit on these 5 corners, the non-overlapping corners, which is what I did on Twister. You're going to put a unit in there. And this is where Mixie Mouse came up with these 3 here look like Mickey Mouse, right? The little ears and then the Mickey Mouse icon. But we put it there, Mixie Mouse. And you could put 4 corners, 4 units on the corners, and then add another unit on top. The reason why I went with this version is because I like visually that I can look at this and very easily see the progressions that I'm on. If you're stacking, it's a little bit harder, not difficult, but it's just a little bit harder. But if I were in a rush, I would play it with the corners. Now for the third progression, you're simply adding 1 more unit to these 4 corners on the inside. So on the first progression, you're putting 20 units down. On the second progression, you're only adding 5 more units. Okay, so now you're at 25 units. On the third progression, you're only increasing it by 4 units. So now you're at 29 units. Okay, so those are the first 3 progressions. And I like it because it keeps your bets lower. I hope we lose here. Good. From this point forward, all we're doing is martingaling. I don't do anything else. Now, what I like about this one is if you can save your bets, first thing you do is save the 20 numbers and save that as Mickey Mouse 1. And you can do 1A and 1B if you're like me, you want to be able to switch columns, but you save it as Mickey Mouse 1. Then you just place 5 of the corner bets with nothing else on it, and you save that as Mickey Mouse 2. Then with the clear board, you put the 4 corners and you save that as Mickey Mouse 3. Brent, why would you do that? Because then you can control your progressions independently. So in other words, I could put, instead of just martingaling where all goes together, I could martingale like right now and then click Mickey Mouse 3 a couple times and just add a couple units to these 4 corners in the middle. So you have complete control, or I could click Mickey Mouse 1 and add an extra unit to these 20 numbers. So you can totally play with it and have that. That's what I really love about this one. You can totally customize on the fly how you want your progressions. Instead of saving it as Mickey Mouse 1, then saving it as Mickey Mouse 2 with all 20 plus the 5. Oh my gosh, she's crushing us on that third. But this is good. I want you to see what recovery looks like. I don't do well with her. I don't do very well with this dealer. I don't know why. I do not do well with Ann. Okay. So now we're just martingaling. Let's see what recovery looks like. This is another strategy that I would say it's riskier. It pays out real well, but if you hit on the first, you're going to get paid really well. The first 3 progressions are nice. It can get expensive, and you can go definitely on some long runs like this. Don't be afraid to pause for 5 minutes. Like if she hits here, or switching up your streets. Oh my gosh, see? So there's a lot of numbers here. We're only covering 20 numbers, right? We got 37 total numbers. So there's still 17 numbers out there that are not covered. Now at this point, we're at a 46.40 bet. We started out with a $2 bet, right? We started out with a $2 bet. So this is already at 46.40. But what you could do is you could add a couple extra units to these corners. If you want to, when you get down, you want to make your recovery a lot faster, you can add some units down there. But this is good. This is what I want, because I want us to see what recovery looks like and what the risks and the danger are of this strategy. I probably by now would have gone up to second and third column. So let's see if that would have helped or hurt. Boom, there's a 20. That's a good hit. And you want the ones that are in the middle. At this stage, you want the ones that hit in the middle. See, that almost gets us to recovery. You would not have to bet this much. And if I had these bets saved, I would go back and place, and go back and bring this down at least 2 progressions, maybe to the very start of the third progression where you have these 20 units and 1 unit on all the middle corners. At progression 1 and 2, it doesn't matter. Any of the 20 numbers pay the same. At progression 3, these outside here, the outside goalpost winning ones, they pay less than the inside because they're only flanked on one side by a corner. Make sense? See, like this one, it paid less, but it still should get us back up into profit. Boom. There we go. So recovery is really nice. You can look, we lost several in a row, 2 wins, we're in profit. We could have definitely brought that bet way down, gone back down to base third, and I think you would have seen us recover really nicely. And so that's why I really like Mixie Mouse. All right, coming in at number two, I'm going with 9 Streets. Okay. Now, those of you that saw when I first started the channel, 9 Streets was everything for me. And they still continue to be 9 Streets. But like I said, I tend to ebb and flow between this one and the number 1 strategy that I love. So I'm going to show you. You have multiple choices with 9 Streets. Okay. The most common, like the ones I start out with, where you're just covering 3 streets in each dozen. You pick whichever streets you want. I call when we cover 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so if you hear me say I'm going to play 1, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 4 or reverse, this is 1, 2, 3, which I call standard or normal. 1, 2, 4 is we cover the first, the second, and the 4th street of every dozen. 1, 3, 4, you're covering the first, the third, and the 4th of each dozen. And reverse is the same as 2, 3, 4, where we're going opposite of this one. See, we're going 1, 2, 3. That one's going 4, 3, 2. Okay. Recovery is basically the same as what we were just doing. On the first loss, you martingale it. You can play aggressive and keep it martingaled and go into profit, or you can reduce it down to base bet and you will break even on that. If you lose 2 before you're able to recover, so let's say you lose, you win 1, you lose again, then you'll have to martingale and leave it at martingale. You can't bring it down immediately, okay? In order to recover. Boom. So we just lost, okay? So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to martingale. So I'm not going to walk you through all the 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4. You get the idea. You can place these chips in reality, any 9 streets you want. Any 9 streets you want. And in fact, if you don't want to play streets, it's just an easier way. You can pick your own 27 numbers. I've seen on other channels, people picking, diagonally. I think on the Roulette Master, gosh, must have been about a year ago. Someone submitted a strategy where they're going in diagonals and covering 3, 5, 7, 6, 8, 10, 9, 11, 13 like that. I think they left out 12, 14, 16. And there's a second loss. Okay, that's all right. See, I'm telling you, I play with Ann and she gets me way more losses than wins. It's just how it goes with her. I don't know why. She's bad luck for me. So we're going to recover here. Now at this point, because we've lost 2, 1, 2, we're going to have to leave it at this bet for 2 spins and then go back down if we want to base bet to break even. So I'm going to show you. So you've seen this variation where you're playing basically every dozen on its own. And then I'm going to show you another that most of you will probably be familiar with, that I'll show you a different version of this. I'm actually going to show you 2 other alternate versions of this. All right, so let's see what our recovery looks like. That hit. Okay, so yeah, see, we're going to need to get 3 of these or 2 of these and then go down to 20 cents or 10 cents in order just to break even. So it just depends, again, how conservative or how aggressive do you want to be? And this, by the way, these are available in Clever Bets as well. So if many of these strategies, 5 double streets, Pimp, which are the 4 expanding corners, Spread Your Streets isn't there, Mickey Mouse is there, 5 double streets is there. There's a couple other strats that we have in there. All right, well, this is good. We'll see how deep this goes before recovery. I'm telling you, I don't do well with her. I just don't. So I'm starting to learn the dealers. I haven't been playing on stake a while. I'm back on stake, but I started noticing dealers that I don't do well with. And I don't know why. It's just freaky. But I now try to avoid them or play very low bankroll if I'm playing with some of these dealers. So let's go. I miss some of the old dealers, Shanky, Dom. I mean, you know what I'm saying. All right, Stacy. They were fun dealers. I liked them a lot. All right, there's a win. Now, two of these, I believe, because we won one, then lost, two of these, I believe, gets us pretty darn close. Let's see, what did this win? It went from 480 to 240. So $2.40. So this gets us exactly at ground level, but we were up 30 cents. Close enough to where if we got this win, I'd go all the way back down to base bet. You can play it aggressively and keep it here, or have this bet if you want to get up into profit. So let's see if we can at least recover right here. And then I'm going to show you a couple of the variations that we'll get through. But I love 9 streets. I love it. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. Mofo, I'm telling you, she is the death of me on this, on roulette. I don't know why. I don't know how, but she makes me suffer. So literally, I usually try to avoid Anne if I can, but your results will definitely vary. You know, it's just purely coincidence with the sessions I happen to have with her. I'm sure if I played with her consistently, it would be different. All right, let's go. And if you don't know, on stake here, they now have 2 tables, 2 stake tables. One, the original table, they lowered the table maximums, which I don't know why, but they lowered it to like $1,000. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? All right, here we go. I don't know if they're trying to steer people away. I don't know. I can't think of any logical reasons why you would open up 2 of the exact same tables and have one with a $50,000 bet and the other with a $1,000 bet. Because the people who are betting $1,000, it doesn't hurt to have an even higher ceiling. What? It just makes no sense to me. I mean, what's the attraction? There's no difference between playing here on the other table if you're playing with a low bankroll. All right, we got it. So this got back all the way up there. All right, so the 9 streets variation is, you've heard of me, I call it centipede, which is basically 9 streets in a row. I call this one centipede 3 because it starts on the 3rd street and goes this way. There's centipede 1, 2, 3, 4. I pretty much, for the most part, only do centipede 3. It's just the thing. But you can go to 4 and cover all the way to the end. You could wrap it around. You could start at 25 and do 4 streets here, then wrap it around and do 5 streets here. So again, you're covering whatever you want in regards to the 9 streets. This one here, some people have said what they like to play is follow the winner or opposite. So in other words, this hit 5, it was down on this end, so you would cover 1 through this. If it hits on the open 3 streets on the other end, you start and cover those 3 streets going this way. So you're basically just alternating high and low, high and low, high and low. Whether you want to do follow the winner or follow the loser, that's up to you. I don't really do that every spin. If I were to change it, it would be more because I felt like she or he had some serious bias for that wheel going on. All right, I'm going to leave it high just for purpose. Normally, I would bring this back down to be more conservative. Remember, I try to protect my progressions as much as possible. Progressions are life, right? So I try to bring my progressions down as soon as I can. That's reasonable. But I don't flat bet. I don't flat betting. You guys know me. If you know me at all, I'm not a big fan of flat betting. Unless your strategy has some banger numbers and you can flat bet and hope that you're going to hit these numbers anyway. All right, there we go. We're up into profit. So that's centipede. Now, carrying it one step further, we're going to go to millipede. Now, you have to have 2 units to start, like we do, and then you're putting 1 unit in between each of these. So this is millipede. Now, you hit the inside numbers and you get a payment that's better. You still profit on these outside goalpost winners, but not as much as you do on the inside. Okay, so the advantage of this one, the nice thing about this one is if you get lucky like this and you hit several in the middle, you are going to be up higher than you were before playing 9 streets with this same amount. I mean, we're playing with 260 here. So you're going to play, and you're actually using a little bit less than a comparable bet size. If we were to put, say, 30 cents on here, we'd be spending 270. Here we're playing 260. These make more than normal 9 streets. These make half. So it's just, again, the downside of these with where you get payments, where you get these partial wins, is it's okay when you're winning. But when you start losing and you get in a deep hole, like right here, it hit on the edge here. Okay. So this only made 40 cents, right? We only made 40 cents on this one. You get in a couple in a row and your bet gets kind of big and you're trying to climb out a hole, and suddenly it starts hitting these end winners that are only paying you half, and you start going, mother, you know what I mean? It makes the recovery versus 9 streets. It doesn't matter which street you hit, you're getting paid the same. And that's just my preference. But I've played this one as well, and I've done very well. I think it's one of those things where at the end of the day, if we played this 100 times and the relevant similar 9 streets centipede, we would come out probably pretty close to being the same. I'm going to put you on pause. Something happened and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. I'm not exactly sure what, if she didn't spin it 3 times, I'm not sure, but manager came over, super thick accent. Does anybody else think the dealer looks like Ann, looks like Drew Barrymore? All right, there's a 15. That's another win. You see, we're making money here. So, okay. So that's it. You got that. And again, you can move those streets anywhere you want, back and forth. But roughly, only thing you need to remember is the streets are the ratio is 2-to-1 on the streets to the double streets in between. Okay. So that's it. And okay, coming in to number 1, I'm going to guess if I were a betting man, I think most of you are going to know what it is. Drum roll. Number 1 strategy for me today, and these can all change, all right? Number 1 strategy for me today is 5 double streets, okay? I love 5 double streets. I love 9 streets. I've been on a real 5 double street kick for quite a while. When I play it without going degen, I do very, very well. This is a 30 number coverage. It pays 5-to-1, means you get 1 unit profit for putting 5 down. On the same line, for every loss, you'd have to flat bet 5 times to break even. She screwed up again. So I like this one a lot. You got good coverage. You got good options. It's the most consistent winner that I have ever had. And I've played everything: outside bets, inside bets, the outside dozens and columns, the 1-to-1, even money bets, the high, low, even, odd, black, red. This is the one I come to because it's the most consistent I have. The downside is, just like any high coverage system, if you get a couple losses before recovery, it gets very expensive and very scary very quickly. So that's the downside to this. It's really important to be mindful. I have lost, if you watch any of my videos, you've seen me place 50. A few weeks ago, I placed a couple $60,000 bets. So it can definitely get a little on the scary side. So I'm going to show you a couple different versions of this. And actually, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go back one step when we're done here. I'm going to show you my original, what spawned my 9 street system, not mine, I mean me playing it. I'll show you that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have another version called Slut. And that means we're going to leave the first 2 streets open, the first double street, the 1-4 double street. You can also, the official term is called a line because you put the monies on the line, but most people understand double street as well. So we're going to leave double street open. And what we're going to do is, after every spin, regardless of the result, we're going to leave the next double street open. Okay. So we're effectively going to rebet leave the 7-10 street open and move that chip over to the 1-4. Okay. So we just won. Now we put 50-cent bet down and we profit 10 cents. So what we're going to do is we're going to rebet, except we're going to move this chip over here. So now we're leaving this double street open. So this is what we call 5 double street slut. And again, sort of like Twister, where you're trying to get through the whole gauntlet. I like this one because you're trying to get all the way through the end without getting whacked. Okay. Now you think to yourself, what's the chances that the spins would follow me? And trust me, it happens. It happens. But I've had really good success with this one. Really good success with it overall, but it's just a matter of what's the flavor of the day? What do I feel like that day? And often I'll just go back to, a static 5 double street where you're just leaving 2 streets open and you just you just stay on those the rest of the time. So we would keep going, and I'll do one more. So you would just move it over like this. And then we will go to the final one after this one, after slut. So we have static, right? Standard 5 double streets where you leave 2 streets open and you just leave those same 2 streets open. We have this one, 5 double street slut. We're moving the open streets from left to right. You can move them right to left. Doesn't matter. And then we'll have the third variation of this that I play. I mean, you can make as many, I guess you could come up with a bunch of variations. But the third variation I'll show you right after this one. Let's see if we can get a win here. 30. Beautiful. All right. So the last version is 5 double streets plague. And so what plague is basically avoiding the double street pair, the pair to double street that just hit. So this hit 30 and 25, 28 with the 30 in it is the paired double street. So you're going to leave that one alone. We call it plague because when I was thinking about a name for this one, you want to avoid it like the plague. So I started calling this one plague. So we're going to avoid this one like the plague. And no matter where it hits, let's say it hits in the same spot, we'll martingale and leave it at the same place. If it hits the number 2, we'll leave the 1-4 double streets open. 21, bingo. I've had very good success. I've had success and failures on all these, but by far 5 double streets at this point. I mean, it was really close, me trying to decide which one to put, the 9 streets or the 5 double streets, but I ended up, because this is just for right now. It could definitely change in, a week, 2 months, if I get really burned bad on 5 double streets and I move on to something else. So that's that. So that'll be it. But I do want to take you back one step to my number 2 winner, which is 9 streets. And I'm going to show you another version, the very first version that I started out with it. Okay, so we just got whacked. So we're going to leave that the same and let's martingale up. Now, oftentimes you can martingale and win twice, or 3 times. What I'm going to do is, if I'm betting fairly low, I like doing a 3x and then I do a 3x twice, and that gets me 1 unit into profit. So if we do 3x twice, we'll recover plus go up 10 cents profit. So that takes us only 2 spins to recover versus 3 spins to recover if we were only to double up. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can get 2 of these in a row and then wrap it up with one final 9 street variation. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this is the dangers of double streets, right? Oops, I'm going to triple up again and see how this goes. Look at that. 19, 22, 21. It happens. It happens. So let's see if we can get away from this. It's painful when this happens, especially if you're betting pretty big and you're going, oh crap. I'm now on my 3rd progression, right? 4th progression. We've lost twice. Oh no, we lost triple up. Triple. We're on our 3rd progression. Never mind. All right, now we're going to have to win this a couple times. There we go. All right, so we're going to rebet and just move our chips. 1 to the right on the 14 here. We're going to just move this one right over here. And I think we're going to have to win this twice. and then we can leave it here and go into profit, or we can reduce it maybe in half. I'm just going to leave it here the whole way, but I would probably reduce it after this win. Our high up here is 320. We're at 210. This is going to win us 90 cents. That'll take us up to $3. We'll be 20 cents down. So normally I would probably drop this down to either a 30-cent unit or a 20-cent unit, just enough to get into recovery. It's especially important when you're playing these high coverage systems, especially 5 double streets and higher, that you bring your bets down as soon as possible. Okay. So that gets us really close, but for the sake of expediency, I'm just going to leave the bet hard or high. And this is playing in aggressive mode. You'll make more money, but if you lose here, you've gotten up here, then you shoot way down, and then you got to go up, and you're already into the 4th progression. If we bring this down to base bet or to 20 cents, which is our 2nd progression, we just saved ourselves 1 to 2 progressions, and progressions are life. Okay. Another popular question that I get all the time is, what size my bankroll, this and that, or I'm out of money. Do you think I can take money off my credit card and do this or do that? And my answer is no, you only play with disposable income. Don't use your credit card if you're doing it to win back money. All right, going to our 9 street. The way I first started 9 streets was I bet in each of the 3 units, and then in the 3rd dozen, I put 3 units. So I put 3 units in 1 dozen, 3 streets in a 2nd dozen, then 3 streets to cover an entire dozen. Now, if it hits that 3rd dozen, it's a break even. And then you profit here the same as you would have profited on a 9 street system. Excuse me, except we're covering 12 numbers. All right, so we got whacked. Of course. We can go up. So this has been around. This has been around for a long time. And I don't know if you there was another YouTuber, and he got on the Roulette Master because the Roulette Master, someone submitted this strategy to the Roulette Master, and he was demoing this other person. I'm not going to get into it because I'm not looking to pick fights anymore, but they jumped all over Roulette Master saying that this was their this is not their strategy. No more than anything that I've shown you today, they're not my strategies. People have done them in the past. They've done every variation you can pretty much think of has been done. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to save it up high again. Now you can take this dozen and put it on whichever dozen you want, and these remaining streets. So I am going to show you one more way that I used to play this after we're done. Let's break even. I'm going to show you one more. It's kind of sluttyish, and I'm going to show you that I first learned 9 streets. This is actually 10 streets, but I first learned this was my first foray into 9 streets. And from here, I started going, because what happened, I would have sessions where it's hitting this dozen that I have covered by 3 units, and these are break evens. And I got tired of winning so many break evens like this. It's a break even, right? So I started playing Plague with it, which is whatever street you hit, you cover 6 to the left or 6 to the right, or excuse me, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to cover 3 here. What did it hit up there? 31. Okay. So we're going to cover 1 like that. So no, I had it right. So whatever hits here, the double street, you pair the double streets and you go to the left or the right side of it. I screwed up. I put 10 streets down there instead of 9 streets. And that worked out pretty well for me. You're basically playing Plague with 9 streets. Man, I need a nap. Okay, there's a win. So if it hit 20 now, what I would have done is gone in the dozen. Okay, this is the paired street right here. So we're going to cover everything this way. We're going to cover, so these 2 dozens, and then we got our 3rd dozen, and you're going to pick 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. We're going to go with 1, 3, 4 over here. And whatever I pick for 1, 3, 4, that's what will be on every empty dozen that I get to. So I'm going to take the paired, I'm going to go one direction or the other, and then there's going to be a final dozen. You'll always cover 2 dozens with whatever it is, and then go with the standard format for that 3rd dozen. I'm probably not explaining that great, but let me show you one more. Okay, we just lost, so we're going to double up and stay here. And now I look up here oftentimes, and if I were looking up here 22, 20, 14, 12, 13, 14, 19, 22, they're repeating a lot. I definitely would not be being plagued. I would not be playing a plague type strategy, because I just glance up there. Not that this is indicative of the future, but you see how many times they've run in the same area. That can change. Statistically, I know it doesn't matter. But when I look up there and I see that kind of history, I don't play plague, because to me, the chance of them double tapping, triple tapping UR, which has already happened to us, is high. Look at that, 21 again. Right? So I'm looking at going, it's either the dealers or the wheels. I don't care what it is. Happenstance, just complete, coincidence. But either way, I look up there and go, this is not the strategy that I would be playing with. I would probably go the opposite, which means whatever it hits on, you make sure you have that covered, that area covered, right? And you go the opposite end of it and cover something down there. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can get a couple wins in a row here. And we call it quits. And this brings us, this was our number 2 strategy, 9 streets. But I could have easily gone with this one being number 1. All right, we narrowly won that one. Let's see if we can recover and be done with this. We're going to play this. We need 2 more wins on this. If we can get 2 more wins, we would have recovered plus gone up a little bit in profit. All right. Now with 9 streets, like I said before, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. For every loss, you need 3 wins, flat bet. So the recovery is better than 5 double streets. And you're only short 3 numbers from 5 double street, right? 5 double streets covers 30 numbers, is covering 27 numbers. But it seems to make a pretty big difference. All right, let's see what we can get here. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Just nailing it. And I forgot I didn't actually move my stuff. If we had moved my stuff correctly, we wouldn't have lost. All right, I'm just going to leave it on that because it doesn't really matter. And we've been going far longer than I want. So that's my top 10, 11. The first one, the AOB strategy, is just a joke. So that's it. Put in the comments what your favorite strategy is. I would love to test your strategies. Even better, get in our Discord. We have a strategy channel where you can list your strategies out, and then I'll test them out on our live streams. But put in your comments if you have some sort of variation of any of the strategies that I put on here. Throw out there your variations. Hopefully they're significantly different. Some people do a variation, like I've seen variations of 5 double streets where they literally shift. It covers the same exact number, but they, like, instead of doing like this to cover this entire, or it would be 30 cents, they're doing this. They're doing this, this, this. Okay, you're covering the same amount with the same 3 units that you would have put down here. You're just shifting one over. Not really a difference. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do me a solid. Hit the like button down there. Hit the follow button down there. It helps me keep making content for YouTube. Gets the algorithm and our promotion so that our reach is a little bit better than it is. Jump into our Discord. Links are below. And if you're looking to sign up, you can be a stake affiliate or a shuffle affiliate. But I'm on stake right now. You get on my giveaways during my live stream. That makes you eligible for giveaways. And I also do drop codes that I send out, and you'll be eligible for those if you are an affiliate of mine. All right. And I will be having a leaderboard up very, very soon. I promise. Anyway, be good humans. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. If you get rinsed, it's okay. It happens to all of us. Just step back, take some time, come back, and be smarter about your play. All right. That's it. It's us against the casino always. And please don't use money that you need. Please only use disposable income. Okay. So that way, if you lose it, it's okay. No one likes to lose, but it happens. All right. It's gambling. All right. Cheers. I'll see you guys next time.